Doom, da doom, doom, da doom, da doom, doom, doom. Hey, look, different length bolts. Fantastic. I did a thing. I said that I probably wasn't, or maybe I never said anything. Don't hold me to it. But I got another SCX6. Whatever this is. Yeah. Kind of excited about this rig. I don't know why. Y'all know that I'm not a super fan of the SCX6 because they're so heavy, and if they break on the trail, it's kind of problematic. However, this one was local to me. Somebody did a lot of work to it. Actually, two guys did a lot of work to it, and I ended up getting it for less than the price of this chassis. So it was something that I really couldn't say no to, because a lot of what I don't like about the SCX6, I got a stock one sitting right down there is why I'm looking down there. Show it to you. Yeah, it's so freaking big. I don't like it. It doesn't have any good clearance underneath. It's not fun. It's not fun to drive. And it's heavy. This, on the other hand, all right, so it's still heavy, but it's got clearance. It's a rock buggy. This is an RC Speedy chassis, if I am properly informed. I don't know what it's called, though. You're going to have to tell me. It's just like a buggy or something. But at any rate, the stainless welded chassis, I'll say, the welds look fantastic. We'll have to get a close-up on some of these, but stacked dimes, every single one of them. Absolutely fantastic TIG welding. You can see the heat-affected zones on each one since it's steel and it was not done. There's a little bit of undercuts here and there, but I mean, this is tiny welds, such tiny welds. They are as close to immaculate as they can be. And as a person who has done a lot of welding and metalworking in my life, I can really appreciate the amount of work and accuracy that went into this. He's obviously building them off of jigs. This thing is as square as anything that I've ever seen. So kudos to Mr. RC Speedy or whoever it is. Really cool, really cool. So a lot of like laser cut parts that are combined into fish mouth tubing. He probably has himself a setup to bend these tubes exactly. It's really well done. However, this rig needs a lot of work. As you can see, I've already pulled the electronics out. Me and a local, Mike Hollenbeck, we double teamed it the other day after I got it, and we replaced the front axle shafts because they were worn slap out. Some of the pins were pushing out. All the wheels were loose. I freaking hate these wheels. It's not that they look bad, but it is the type where you've got this center cap. Oh, can I take the center caps off? Oh, yes, yes. I was gonna drill these things out. Well, anyway, there's a center cap here to where you can't get to your 10 millimeter to tighten it down, and they were all loose because of that. I'm glad that I didn't just drill these out, but okay, we got the one that's loose here. So if I can, maybe I can make a little tool for these. Maybe there is a tool, or maybe I can just hand tighten them and keep an eye on them. But at any rate, not being able to get to the actual nuts is a problem when you're on the trail. All right, that one's coming loose by hand because these things get loose. It's heavy. It looks like the last dude was kind of a basher. It's got Trio axles on there. It's got the Trio wheels. We've got the aftermarket chassis. It has one of my 5th scale servos, and it looks like a completely stock transmission on there. So the next thing is that I need to go through the machining on these Trio axles. I'm not going to get into this again with the axles. I'm sorry. I'll just bypass that completely. There we go. At any rate, it needs a little work. Mechanically, everything is loose. The ball ends are starting to get stretched out. I'm assuming it took some tumbles down Cape and Park a few times. And so it's just got it, you know, the length of bolts that were used on everything is not the same. There's a lot of little stuff that just kind of gets my goat. But at the same time, it's a used rig. Used rigs are gonna be used. They're gonna have things like the screw that holds your servo horn on was ground down and then welded to the output of the servo. The things like that are gonna happen with some people, I guess. I don't know what happened to the knuckles, but they're plastic stock knuckles on here. I can probably get some more brass. This thing does not need to be heavier. Whatever. It's going to be great. It's going to be fine. 3D printed inserts, it feels like. I think John Robinson, one of the locals, he printed them. I know his name is very similar to mine, but he's not me, I swear. But 3D printed inserts, it feels like this one's actually softer than the rest. Yeah. I wonder if these wheels got put on wrong, because the softer ones should be in the front, and it feels like these two are the softest ones and these two are the hardest. Yeah, sure is. Yep. How about that? Yeah, used rig. There's always going to be something. We did not switchy swappy when we were replacing those, so I know it wasn't us that did it. Whatever. Fine, it's fine. I'll talk to Mr. Robinson about that and see if he actually had two different ones or if they just got like broken in over time, because there will be torque twist putting more load on one, and these things are so heavy. It's obviously had a lot of runtime on it. These treads are starting to get worn out. I will do a video where I'm working on it. I've got to do some soldering work, replace some things. Looks like the BEC got, I don't know what happened to the BEC, but the wires got somehow like pinched. I'm guessing because everything was like flopping around or whatever. But what was the point that I was making? Work needs to be done. Work needs to be done. Stuff has just been flopping around, but it came with a lot of extra parts. It came with a bunch of batteries, and yeah, we'll just fix it up. And there's a lot of guys that have SCX6s here in the town, so I'll have to go out trail riding now. I got no choice. I've got the right rigs, and now I do see the draw of having a large rig to walk behind on the trail, because something like this, even in first gear, it's a good walking pace to keep up with it, and it can keep up because it's so big, and there are really no obstacles at almost any place here in town that are going to be too big for this to climb. Now there's some rock ledges, sure, but you can kind of get around them. So I do see the draw to this size. It is dangerous when it starts to fall though, and on our big monolithic rocks, when it starts to tumble, it's going to be bad news. But I'm a careful driver, I'm a good driver, and I can probably avoid any really bad tumbles. So I'm going to try to not break this thing. So there we go. New toy for me. I'd say that I haven't bought any rigs in 2025. And I will say that I haven't bought any rigs in 2025 because this was the last day of 2024. So yeah, I'm at least haven't done that yet this year. All right, it's gonna be a good time. I'm kind of excited on this one. I'll probably use the Radio Master for it. I've already got a Radio Master ready to go, little 3-channel, so we can have our shifting. I'm gonna lock it in first anyway. I may just get rid of that channel and lock it in first. I don't care about going fast, especially with this one. I can use the other one in second gear and be totally fine. So there we go. That about covers it, I think. She is well used, but she will be well loved. Well, if you have an RC Speedy chassis, let me know. Or if you love SCX6s more than me, which is everybody in the comments, I'm sure, then tell me what you like to do with yours or what upgrades you would recommend for this if I really need to do any more. I think new front axle shafts, I was hearing from maybe Vedavon are the best ones, but I don't know. Y'all tell me. All right, new rig for me. As always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. You've made it to the end of the video. Hopefully that means you liked what you saw. If you want to help out the channel, you can like, subscribe, and definitely comment down below. We would like to hear new ideas from you, so be sure you let us know what you'd like to see. There are some other suggestions probably floating by my head right now that you can check out, and otherwise we appreciate your support and your help growing the channel.